Theoretical English Language and Literature Institute. I'm Professor Abha Sharma, and here I'm doing the video series on the CBSE-NET English July 2016 Paper 3 Part 2. Let's take up the next question, that is question number 6. In Biographia Literaria, S.T. Coleridge defines the imagination as the faculty by which, I'm not going to read the choices, straight away I'm going to tell you the answer. I don't want to get you people confused with the other choices. The correct one is the third one. The mind acquires images by its associative power. Now, Coleridge, S.T. Coleridge, was much ahead of his times, although he was from the group of the Romantic poets with Wordsworth, Hazlitt and Robert Southey. Still, his criticism was much appreciated by the new critics. He led the new critics like T.S. Eliot, Ezra Pound and others. In Biographia Literaria, he says that there are two kinds of imagination, primary and secondary. And this is the faculty by which a writer creates. A person, a writer, accumulates images since his birth. And through those images, he recreates. His creative power takes birth. For example, suppose if I tell you, there was a movie called Lagan, and it was set during the British rule. But then there wasn't any match. So all the setting was of from the primary imagination, and the new story, the characters and all were because of the secondary imagination. So primary leads to secondary. Primary comes from this world only. It is accumulated, it is taken, it is perceived from this world only. And suppose if you go out of this world, if you create something which is not at all present, then it becomes fancy. So one is imagination, the other is fancy. Imagination, primary and secondary. Coleridge was not much in favor of fancy. So the correct answer is the mind acquires images by its associative power. The writer's brain is more sensitive and he has the capacity or the talent to bring the things in sequence. Whereas a common man who's not a writer will have all these images in a haphazard manner. He doesn't have the patience or the way to put them in sequence. If a known writer wants to write something, all the things of his mind, they immediately show up and he's confused what to write and what not. Whereas a matured writer knows how to put everything in sequence, chapter by chapter, therefore they can write such beautiful books. Let's take up the next question. Why do the venoms have so few words in the language? The worms. Let's take the next question. Why do the venoms have so few words in the language? I'll straight away give you the right choice. The first choice is the right one. Their wants and passions are fewer than human wants and passions, and they need few words. Venoms, the last segment of Gulliver's Travel, written by Jonathan Swift, one of the very famous work. Many movies are made on it. When we were in school, we saw a movie called Rani or Lalpari. And there were two stories narrated. One was Cinderella and the other one was of Lilliputians. So the first journey which he made was in the land of Lilliput, where people were just 6 inches in height. And then he goes to the land of giants. The third one is the island of Laputa. And the last one is the land of Yahoos, which was ruled by horses, venoms, because they make such noise. And they spoke very little. This is asked in the question. Why? Because their passions were less, because they had very less desires. They talked less. There was truth. So they had no need to discuss or argue on truth or the lies. Therefore, and he was rather saved by the horses from the Yahoos. This is the last part where the author wants to depict the contrast between the animals and humans. Humans have so much desire, so much of greed. They are so vicious in nature that they do not spare nature, which is inhabited by animals. So all this is there. We'll discuss it later when we discuss the complete book. Otherwise, we would be only discussing Gulliver's Travel here. Let's take the next question. Identify the title of A.D. Hope's first published book of poems. Native Companions, The Wandering Islands, A Midsummer Eve's Dream, The Cave and the Spring. Now, A.D. Hope, the Australian poet and critic. His first published book of poems is The Wandering Islands. And I think so, after that, A Midsummer Eve's Dream, then The Cave and the Spring in 1965, and The Native Companions in 1974. Next one. Which of the following is an incorrect assumption in language learning? Learners acquire language by trying to use it in real situation. Learners' first language plays an important role in learning. Language teaching should have a focus on communicative activities. Language teaching should give importance to writing rather than speech. We have to find the incorrect assumption. So, of course, when one is trying to learn English, he should learn it in real situation. He should talk with everyone. He should try to talk in English. He should, as much as possible, watch programs in English, read in English, listen in English. Then only he'll be able to take up. Language, a learner's first language plays an important role in learning. Yeah, of course, grammar translation method, or if he has grown up to a certain age, his mother tongue helps him to translate and tell him the real meaning beside the language, beside learning, whatever he's trying to learn. The third one, language teaching should have a focus on communicative activities. Otherwise, it's of no use. If you cannot communicate in speaking as well as in writing, what's the sense of learning a new language? Then it says language teaching should give importance to writing rather than speech. No, this is the incorrect assumption because speech is preferred to writing. The first thing the learner should learn is how to speak. Then comes the writing. So this is the incorrect assumption. Let's take the next question. The Bhasmasura myth is used in R.K. Narayan's which book? The Man-Eater of Malgudi, The Financial Expert, The English Teacher, The Wall of Nagaraj. This question has been asked many times in NET, and the correct answer is Man-Eater of Malgudi. This is a story about Nataraj, who lives in Malgudi, the same city where many of R.K. Narayan's novels are set. It is a fictional city in South India near Mempi Hills. So, he is a poet and a journalist. He has his own printing press. And once in the same village, same place, Malgudi, another man comes whose name is Vasu. And Vasu is a kind of a pahalwan, is kind of a rakshas. By profession, he is a taxidermist. Who are taxidermists? The people who collect skins from the dead animal and stuff them again into toys kind of animal, big animals. So he comes there and he says that he's come to do a research on some wildlife or so, but secretly he wants to shoot the animals, take the skin away, stuff them and sell them. Nataraj doesn't like this. Once Nataraj has got some elephant, Kumar, from his friend for some medical treatment, and that also is targeted by Vasu. So Nataraj is very unhappy and he wants to have a last word with Vasu. He goes there and finds him dead. And nobody knows the reason of his death. The autopsy tells that there wasn't any poison given, but he was blown away by some heavy weapon on his head. Later on it is found out that he was trying to kill a mosquito which was sitting on his temple by some heavy weapon, and he shattered one of his nerves and died instantly. So he became the cause of his own death, which relates to the tale of Bhasmasur. So you can go and read the complete tale from mythology, and then you can relate with this man-eater of Malgudi. I've done 5 more questions today, and this finishes our part 2. And if you like my effort, please click the like button, comment, share and subscribe the channel. Also explore our website www.miraclewebstore.com. Till then, take care. Thank you.